Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? I'm coming back at y'all with another video. In this video, we're going to be jumping into the primetime slate, the Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football games. I'm going to go in depth on some of my favorite plays for cash games, tournaments, and pretty much just go over as much as I can. If y'all do have any questions for me, again, as always, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I don't care if it's who's going to do better, Trubisky or Case Keenum. What are your thoughts, cash or tournament? For my season-long league, Walker, who's going to do better, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, and I will get back to you promptly. If you have not already, please leave a like on this video, and I'm recording this on Saturday evening. It's about 7 o'clock right now, so good luck to everybody tomorrow. I hope we all do very well. If you did not watch my thoughts on Sunday, that video is the most recent one after this one, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. Get some kind of final takes for your Sunday lineups. And then my final lineups will be posted over here on the NFL Week 3 spreadsheet for DFS Squid. So make sure you come over here, register. All you have to do is hit lineups and go to NFL Week 3, and there will be a link there, and then you'll be able to access this spreadsheet and check out all of my lineups that are final. And that's going to be for cash and tournaments. And I got to be honest, I have an amazing feeling about this week. I have some very, very strong takes for Sunday, and one that I'm going to share with y'all right now. About 95% of the community seems to just be neglecting the fact that it's going to be a nasty, nasty storm tomorrow in Kansas City. So that's all I got to say about that. Without further ado, let's jump into this primetime slate. Here at the QB position, we have 4 QBs, the best of which so far this year is Case Keenum, who is the cheapest. You cannot dislike him for tournaments. I don't care if he's playing the Bears D or not. He did well against Philly's D. Philly's pass defense looks like possibly one of the worst in the league this year. Dallas's doesn't look good either, but he wasn't very consistent between the two. Both divisional, one on the road, he did better on the road than he did at home. This game's in Washington. Hopefully he can bounce back at home. It's not a bad tournament play at all. Not for cash for me. I don't hate it for cash, personally, because of the savings you get. But if I'm in cash, I'm probably just going to plug Goff or Mayfield because I know that they have higher floors. I don't trust Case Keenum after 2 games to say he has a floor of 16.7 like he had last week. He had a pretty good QBR, but I mean, at the same time, it's just not something that I'm going to be all about until I see some more consistency from him. I'm going to say between Goff and Mayfield, the higher tier quarterbacks on the slate, I'm personally going to prefer Jared Goff. It's tough to say it because when it comes to some further positions, I can go ahead and just plug in Odell Beckham now because he will be in both of my lineups, cash and tournaments. But before that, it's tough to say I don't want to pair him with Baker. I just think Goff is going to have a bigger game here from what Luke Falk did after he got put in as kind of the third stringer. I feel like if he can do that and just connect with Robbie Anderson on those short throws, Jared Goff should have absolutely no problem connecting with Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I think it's a pretty strong play to play the Rams passing game here. So for the sake of this lineup, I hate not pairing OBJ with Baker because you know that's just going to be gravy when Baker goes off. But without David Njoku, it's a very little thing in a lot of people's minds. But that's one less weapon for Baker Mayfield. And between OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Dearness Johnson, they got Higgins might not even play again. Then you got Ratley down here at 3,100. I think Jared Goff's the best play for cash. For tournaments, like I said, I think Case Keenum's a solid play just so you can get savings and pay up everywhere else. Trubisky, a lot of people are going to be off of him. He's had a horrible, horrible start to the year. We saw it last year, though. Mitch Trubisky, he could break a slate. He just can. He can just break the slate anytime he wants to. If we come over here to running back, though, this is where it starts to get a little weird for me. I think this is going to be the position that wins the main GPP this week. Hilliard's back, so that takes away Dearness Johnson. I was high on Dearness on the Showtime slate or the Showdown slate for this past week, and he came through in the first drive. I think it was like the third play of the game. He caught like a 27-yard ball, instant value. He was 200 min price, so that was good. But I think that takes him away with Hilliard back for the most part, if not completely. AP is still going to get the start with Darius Geis out, and you can't hate Adrian Peterson. You just can never count out a Hall of Famer, especially if his name's Adrian Peterson. But against that Chicago 1985-esque sort of Bears defense, I'm not a fan. I don't hate it for tournaments. I think Chris Thompson's a better play, just like he was last week. I mentioned him in the Sunday video last week. Um, he's just got such a high floor because when he gets 10 targets, 8 targets, he had 10 and 8, 10 targets week 1, 8 targets week 2. He's catching all but 30% of these throws. You can't dislike Chris Thompson because he's got that floor. If he catches 5 balls, I don't care if he goes for 50 yards or 20 yards. That's 7 points. If he gets a rushing attempt, if he gets a touchdown, then you're feeling great. So I think Chris Thompson's a pretty safe play, honestly, for cash. I think he's a good play for tournaments again, just so you can get some savings going up and paying up for as many of these Rams receivers as possible. I do think the winning lineup this week will probably have Nick Chubb and Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley is in a really, really good spot here to kind of relive his dynasty days from early last year, I should specify. I think Todd Gurley could have a huge game here. I just think that against that Cleveland front, we saw Le'Veon Bell have all this usage and not a lot of production. The reason that he didn't have a lot of production was because what else was Freddie Kitchens really scared about when it came to that Jets offense? He said, hey, look out for Robbie Anderson going deep. You got Jamison Crowder coming out of the slot, guys. Watch him. And then you got Le'Veon Bell taking QB snaps, running the ball, and catching the ball. So at the end of the day, there's a lot more weapons on this Rams offense for the Cleveland Browns coaching staff to worry about. I think Todd Gurley could have a huge game here. I think he will be under-owned. I think everybody's going to go Chubb and Thompson. I think that's probably how it's going to be. It's either going to be Chubb Thompson, Chubb Cohen. That's probably it. You might see a little bit of Chubb Peterson or something like that. But I don't hate playing Todd Gurley even with Goff. I think Gurley's in as a good tournament play. For cash, though, I'm definitely going to rock Demont. David Montgomery, the volume last week was there, 18 carries. Production might not have been too hot, but that Denver front's very underrated. Everybody talks about Chris Harris in that secondary. That Denver front with Bradley Chubb, and he just looks amazing to me. Von Miller, of course, still there. I think that he had a pretty tough matchup last week. I think he could thrive a little bit in Washington. Obviously, he's no Ezekiel Elliott, but Zeke did perform pretty well against Washington. So I don't hate him at all. But between him and Tariq Cohen for cash, I'm definitely just going to plug Cohen. Just kind of like similar to Chris Thompson. I mean, we could plug Chris Thompson too. Doesn't matter. Difference is 300. I think the upside is more so there for Tariq Cohen. Thompson might get 10 targets, and he could always break a long one. Don't get me wrong. He's probably a higher floor. But Tariq Cohen could break a slate and has a solid floor. I don't see Chris Thompson. He hasn't done that in a long time. So I think Tariq Cohen's a better play for cash personally. But obviously, like I said, Chris Thompson definitely has a higher ceiling. Coming to the receiver position, finally Cooper Kupp getting a price tag he deserves. I love to see it personally because I like that it's ordered the way it is now because now Robert Woods becomes a better tournament play because he's the cheapest. After last week, a lot of people are probably going to be off Robert Woods. I wasn't a big fan in the start. I just knew that a lot of websites, Roto Grinders included, said that Marshawn Lattimore would be seeing Brandon Cooks most of the time. It just never works out that way. He ends up on Robert Woods. Brandon Cooks, I also, by the way, I want to go into him pretty firmly here because I will be pairing him with Jared Goff. Cooper Kupp, we saw it last year again. Slate breaking potential and a great floor. Cooper Kupp will get usage. I want both of these two guys up here. If we can fit them, I think they're both amazing. And then another receiver, Robert Woods, again, I just want to be clear, could outplay either one of them. The key to winning this slate is to having the correct Rams receivers, I think. Allen Robinson, though, for the Bears, looking like a true wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. After last week, a lot of people might not think so, but that's more so a reflection of Mitch Trubisky's play. I think Allen Robinson is going to break out this year. I think this Chicago offense will heat up. I think they're going to start using David Montgomery, hopefully this week or next week. Make him look like a true weapon, especially alongside Tariq Cohen. Hopefully get a Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara sort of look, and then they can just start hucking it to Allen Robinson, similar to the Saints offense with Mike Thomas. I'm not saying he is Michael Thomas. I'm just saying that he's got serious potential, and he really, when you watch some film, he's open on every play. So I think Allen Robinson is always a good play. I think he's always in for a big game. But let's move on to tight end real quick before we work on our flex and our defense. Defense, by the way, real quick, I like to go into this pretty early so we can get a good salary estimate for our last two positions. I don't hate the Redskins' defense at min price compared to the rest, just the lowest price, I should say. Bears' defense looks sloppy. Like I said, I personally hope that they break out this week and start looking better. Even as a Lions fan, I do pull for that Chicago team. I think they're awesome. I would not hate the Redskins' D because of how poor they've looked. The Bears' defense probably the better play. If we were to plug in the Bears, and I'm staying away from the Rams-Cleveland game, could one of the defenses do very well? Yes, but at the same time, it could also be a very sneaky shootout. I don't see the Bears-Redskins game being a shootout. I know the Philly and Redskins game was kind of a sneaky shootout. They've put up 27 and 21 against, honestly, pretty bad defenses. I think the Bears defense is going to give Case Keenum a wake-up call here. I like the Bears defense. And then coming back to tight end, though, if Trey Burton plays, I can see playing Trey Burton. Vernon Davis is, without a doubt, not even close, just the chalk of the slate at tight end. With Jordan Reed out, you know he's going to get the usage. He burned me and a couple other people last week. He just 6 points for the price he's at is just not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. So I don't hate Vernon Davis, and he's also got the 2-touchdown upside, everything like that. Gerald Everett with Higbee out though, he's got some serious upside for the Rams. Upside there, extremely low floor there. So I don't hate Everett with Higbee out, especially if Burton misses. I will probably have Shaheen in most of my lineups just because he's going to catch a ball or two, and he's going to do this whole 2 to 6 point thing, and I'm okay with it for 2,900. I just think that I would rather save the money that way. So let's say Trey Burton misses and I can plug Shaheen. If I was to plug Shaheen here and then come to my flex with 4,800, I can fit Chris Thompson. I can fit Malcolm Brown. Paul Richardson, I will not like at all. I don't care about what he did last week or not. It's just not somebody I want in my lineups personally. 3 for 3 last week. I don't see the talent. I'm not on that train yet. I want to get up to Scary Terry here, but at the same time, like I said, I think that Chicago's kind of going to give the Washington offense a wake-up call. I think Chicago's D will hopefully score, leaving them behind, and then we can just comfortably plug Chris Thompson. I think that's a pretty safe cash line right there. Again, my final lineup will be posted over here on the Week 3 spreadsheet. Make sure you sign up over here at DFS Squid. Last but not least, my favorite couple tournament plays of the slate. I want to give you all my favorite 2 or 3 plays, maybe a QB, running back, wide receiver, or tight end, maybe a QB flex or tight end, whatever. Something that I just think could be a really big tournament play for you guys. Number 1 is going to be Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry's got a pretty solid matchup. OBJ is going to be on Marcus Peters. Michael Thomas matches up on Marcus Peters better than OBJ does. OBJ is going to be he's going to be owned everywhere. He's going to be everybody's priority this week, I think, for the primetime slate because of the fact that he pretty much broke the showdown slate against the Jets with that one long bomb. I think Jarvis Landry has got that potential, and Jarvis looked so bad on a primetime game that everybody saw him drop those balls, and it's just embarrassing. And he's going to come back, and he's going to be able to have a big game here. I think it's a good narrative, good bounce-back spot for Jarvis. I think he's a great tournament play. Scary Terry, I think, will be a little higher owned than I'd want him to be to call him a great tournament play. I'm just going to leave that at that. Robert Woods, by the way, is as a tournament play probably the least owned Rams receiver for these price points. Tight end, there's not really anybody that jumps out at me as a low-owned, high-upside guy. It's either Vernon Davis, Gerald Everett. Those are probably like I said, if Burton misses Shaheen, you have a 1 in 3 shot at having the highest scoring tight end. They're all average at best. Running back, Todd Gurley. Like I said, I think he's in a good spot here. I think he could have a big game against that Cleveland front. Cleveland's got the Rams have a lot more weapons than the New York Jets do, so the Cleveland defense can't just pretty much stack the box and cover like they did on Le'Veon. Hilliard could always vulture a touchdown. I'm not super into him because of that. I don't like to rely on a stolen touchdown. But I do think AP and Todd Gurley are two really solid tournament plays here. And then coming to the QB position, I personally think the Chicago defense will give this Redskins offense a wake-up call and make them look pretty atrocious. Case Keenum, probably your best tournament play alongside Mitch Trubisky. Fading this Rams-Cleveland game for the most part and saying that Chicago-Washington's more of a shootout's a great play. Mitch Trubisky can always kind of break that slate like I mentioned earlier, stack him with Allen Robinson, stack him with Shaheen. Just plug those guys in there for a tournament lineup, and then, if it happens, you're looking great. I would plug them in and plug in something funky like the Rams D. And then, Baker has not looked good in all honesty. You plug him in like that, plug in Todd Gurley, Adrian Peterson, and you could just run it from there. And you obviously, like I said, though, because we're calling it kind of a sneaky shootout, run it back with Scary Terry. I think you just have to plug Odell, and then you have way too much left for your flex. I'm okay with leaving some salary on, but not that much. Maybe just come up to Nick Chubb or something like that, and then Cooper Kupp. Something a little weird, though, I think is going to be the lineup that wins this primetime slate. Again, like I mentioned at the start of the video, if y'all do have any questions for me, I will be here ready and just prepared to answer anything you got for me. So let me know in the comment section below. If you prefer to DM me on Twitter, my Twitter will be linked in the description below, as well as DFS Squid. This is the website I'm partnered with right now. A buddy of mine, Steve, we were partnering on this. Signing up on this website does help me out a lot. Liking the video helps me out as well. I'm going to link this website in the description below. Click that link. All you have to do is go to register, then go to lineups, and then go to NFL, and then follow the link, and you'll be right here on the spreadsheet and be able to see my final lineups for tomorrow. I cannot wait for tomorrow's slate. I got a great feeling. I'm personally posting the 1 p.m. only slate, cash and GPP lineups. I am also posting the 4 p.m. afternoon only 3-game cash and GPP lineups. I will not be posting my main slate lineups tomorrow. Steve will be posting his for that section. Yeah, like I said, 1 p.m. only and 4 p.m. afternoon only. We're going to take down some GPPs tomorrow. I got a strong feeling. I think I'm on a lot of the right guys, and I think nobody's really looking at that weather that I mentioned earlier in Kansas City. So without anything else for y'all, I'll let y'all go, and I do hope to see y'all soon. I'm probably going to post a video for the Monday night primetime game, just the primetime slate for Bears Skins maybe. If not, my next video will probably be a recap on Tuesday of kind of how we did this week, where I was right, and hopefully nothing about where I was wrong. But I look forward to seeing y'all then, and we'll talk to you soon.